Hey everyone, SuprNova12340 here with one of my new SuprNova reviews. That's right, and today the review is going to be for Super Mario 64! Yep. Alright, so this has to be the very first game I have actually ever played. I remember back when I was in kindergarten, I'd always go over to my friend's house and we'd play this game, and I'd always remember shooting Mario out of the 120 star cannon and we'd laugh our heads off as he'd go screaming into the air. Oh well. It was pretty funny back in the day, but now it doesn't seem as funny. Anyway, on to the review. So, this is for the story. At the beginning of the game, Princess Peach invites Mario to her castle for some cake. It's always for some cake, isn't it? So anyway, by the time Mario gets to the castle, a spooky voice tells him, "Welcome, no one's home, now scram!" Yeah, so he's in the castle and obviously no one's there. And, oh no, all the power stars from the castle are scattered. Without the power stars, the Mushroom Kingdom is turning into a land of monsters, with Bowser turning it into monsters from inside the walls. Gasp! The story is not too complex, but not too non-complex either. It's the perfect storyline for, I wouldn't say like a storybook level or just like a Mario Party level, but it's in between there, something a young gamer can understand. So, it may not be complex, but it is pretty good. So, now it's for the presentation. Alright, for the obvious presentation, when you first get the game and look at the case, this is obviously a true Mario game, you know, platforming, stomping Goombas, and jumping around, and having fun, stuff like that, you know? So, yeah, the normal presentation you'd see, it's like a normal Mario game, it looks fun, and yeah, it's like, oh, cool, can I get this? It's like, oh, you know, your normal reaction to a normal Mario game, so yeah, the presentation's pretty cool. Now, for the controls, they are virtually perfect, but may come a little bit stiffy. Now, because Mario has so many moves, and in the Nintendo 64 controller, it may get a little stiff. Like, for the button presses, you may once in a while forget which button does what, or forget the combination to do the certain move, but nothing that'll mess you up too bad. Like, it'll get annoying after a while, but it won't make you smash your Nintendo 64 controller and/or system itself. So, the graphics. Let's just say, by today's standards, they do show their age, but it's kind of not fair, because this game came out in '96, so I'll judge it by those days' standards. Let's travel back in time! So, back in time, these graphics blew everyone away. These graphics were actually pretty amazing. They had to be some of the best graphics on the system, if not the best. So, yeah. So for the music, obviously, it's what you'd expect from a Mario game. That happy, quirky feeling that everyone loves, and of course, I love. So it's, if you've ever played Mario Sunshine or Mario Bros. Wii, or this game, then you'll know what to expect. But if you haven't played this game, then what's wrong with you? So for the characters, obviously Mario, Princess Peach, Bowser, not too complex, but they couldn't fit in too much stuff because, you know, the Nintendo 64 is an old system and it can only hold so much data on that little cartridge. So, yeah, the characters were pretty good. But there was no voice acting except for the beginning and the end when Princess Peach is like, "The power of the stars return to the castle," and then she kisses him like on his cheek. But Mario doesn't talk at all except for jumping and screaming and just spazzing. But, so yeah, and for the appeal, when, like, it's obviously appealing to mostly children up to 13, I'd say, but the older audience can enjoy this too. But by the look of the gameplay and maybe the case, they may think like, "Oh, this is a little kiddie game, blah blah blah, I'm going back to COD." And so, well, they may think that, but once they play it, they can actually really get attached to it. So, for the appeal is pretty good too. Alright, now for the gameplay. So, for the gameplay, you see, the gameplay is pretty much simple. You move Mario around, and you jump, and kick, and jump, and stomp on Goombas and stuff, and, you know, and you collect stars to regain power to the castle, and, you know, so the gameplay was actually pretty it was actually very, very, very amazing for its time because no one had seen anything like this. And just like the original Super Mario Bros., it blew everyone away. So, for the fun factor of the game, obviously the game is very fun. While trying to collect everything stars, in every level you see a new mechanic. Like in the first one, you have to dodge like balls and bombs, and then in the second one, you need to like swim to a sunken ship and then like in a cave and then get the right chest and something like that. And there's a lot of new gameplay mechanics that are really creative and yeah, like nothing has ever seen before. Now for the lasting appeal is basically like, would you dig out your old Nintendo 64 to play this game? And heck yeah, you would, because this is such a fun game, and it was amazing for its time too. So yeah, it does have a very big lasting appeal. And for the gameplay and for the game and story length, well, the story obviously is a normal story. It didn't blow everyone away, but it was still pretty impressive for its time. So, but for the game length and replayability, it actually is very long. You can beat the game with about 70 stars, which will take you about 3 to 5 weeks, I'd say. But if you're aiming for a big 120, it'll take you a long time. I still haven't gotten all the stars yet. So, for the verdict, I loved this game. It's so much fun. Like, if you haven't played it, like I said before, what's wrong with you? You have to. You can download it on the Wii Shop channel for 1,000 Wii points, which is basically $10 in real life, and it is worth every penny. Not only because you're reliving your past or whatever, but if you haven't played this game, you must play it. It is one of the best games on the Nintendo 64. And for my complaints, the graphics do show their age, the controls can get a little stiffy, the game can get a little tedious and boring while collecting every star, because some of the later levels get a little bit, not very much, but they may not get boring, but they may get a little harder, and it may just get boring collecting stars, but not much at all, only like a little bit. Like sometimes, you know, you just want to play it, so you just don't want to play it sometimes. And so, the final score of the game. This game was excellent. Very, very great. But with its few complaints, I'm going to have to give it 4.5 out of 5 with the title of Epic. So that was my Super Mario 64 review. Then again, it is only my opinion, only mine. You may have a different one. You know, if you have a different one, you can make a different video and post a video response, but my opinion, 4.5 out of 5. One of the best games ever created. So, with that being said, see y'all!